motherfucking hands up!
What's going on YouTube? It's Paradox, and I'm here with another video today, and I'm here to talk about Killzone Shadowfall, if you can't tell by the gameplay playing somewhere next to my head right now. So, undoubtedly, Killzone Shadowfall is one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 4. However, Sony is now being sued over the resolution of the game. So, I'm going to read this to you here. The suit is filed by a particular anti-California resident named Douglas Lador. He claims that the platform holder lied about the game advertising that it would run at 1080p. But, if you are unaware, the release does run at the aforementioned resolution. However, it uses a trick during multiplayer to maintain image quality and boost the frame rate to 60 frames per second. I'm not going to bore you with the details on how that works, but it really just takes some lower resolution pixels and using some vectors, it kind of generates new pixels based on where they would actually be. So, it's such a cheeky solution that no one even noticed until months after release. Digital Foundry eventually cracked the code, concluding that the online mode runs at 960 by 1080 rather than the usual 1920 by 1080. Guerrilla Games, who made the game, later wrote an incredibly in-depth blog post about the process, describing in detail how the solution works and why they employed it. Alas, the lawsuit claims that the Japanese giant's marketing materials, which haven't been adapted, are nothing but fiction. And so the case is seeking $5 million in damages for negligent misrepresentation, false advertisement, unfair competition, and fraud in the incident. Fascinatingly, the suit was filed by law firm Edelson PC, who longtime readers will remember taking Sony and EA games to court over a free copy of Battlefield 1943. This statement concludes by saying, to be honest, if the clearly very bored company has tried to sue PlayStation Maker over Killzone Shadowfall's terrible free-falling segment, we reckon that they probably have a case. In this instance, we're sort of hoping that a squad of particularly angry Hellgas soldiers have a stern word with everyone involved. Now, what do I think about this? That's probably why you're here, other than to just hear this news. I think that this lawsuit is incredibly petty. Extremely petty, and I think that $5 million, like, are you kidding me? That settlement alone is absolutely ridiculous. Now, am I saying that there wasn't some sort of trickery? Am I saying that Sony isn't somewhat at fault here? No, that is not what I'm saying. However, you do have to understand that these sorts of things kind of happen all the time. But you just have to get used to it. And I also think for this settlement or for this case to even go through, it really depends on the way that it's going to be presented. Because no matter which side of this argument that you're on, whether you think it's fair, whether you think it's not fair, it comes down to what you really think native 1080 means. Because there's an industry definition of what native 1080 is, and then there's our sort of definition of what native 1080 is. We're not really in the industry. We don't know the sort of things that go on behind the scenes. However, I understand where this guy's coming from, right? I understand. He thinks he's been tricked. He thinks that, you know, they lied to us. We got to get him back forward. This cannot be allowed. And I think on those terms, you are right, sir. We cannot let companies sort of screw us over. We can't let them really just lie to us and trick us and deceive us. However, I think that in certain situations or in just some ways, you can't really go after it that way. You can't really say, oh, they advertise native 1080. This is running right near native 1080. That's lie. I'm suing you, right? So I think it really comes down to what your definition of native 1080p is. And, I mean, the game doesn't look bad. If the game came out looking like Pixels, if the game looked like Fez, if it looked like Metrico, if it looked like Protheus, yes, you would have a point there, sir, because the advertising doesn't match the final product. Even with Watch Dogs, I mean, as much flack as I gave people for, you know, really hyping up and looking forward to that E3 2012 version and then getting mad over the final release, there is still sort of a trend, there's still sort of an argument to be made there. Here, I think that that same argument cannot be made. I just personally think, for myself, that this lawsuit is absolutely ridiculous. The sort of morals in question here are solid. You don't want to be lied to, right? You don't want to be taken advantage of. But when it comes down to it, I mean, I think this is really just incredibly just why. You know, and it's a class action suit, so I'm sure that there are a group of people who have joined in on this, right? But I just don't understand this, really. I don't understand this at all. I will not understand it fully, but like I said, the morals here, I understand. It's cool. You don't want to be lied to. But asking for $5 million based off of fraud and misrepresentation of the final product, I think you could get away with more suing EA for Battlefield 4 than suing Sony on Killzone Shadowfall for this one. But that's what I think. What do you guys think of this lawsuit? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you think the $5 million should be turned over? Are you grabbing your pitchforks and telling Sony to cough up the money? Tell me down in the comments section below. You've heard my thoughts. I can't wait to hear yours. Until next time, I'm Paradox, saying peace.